Welcome to the Apex eSports League LMP900 World Series. Tonight we are up for round 4 of the series. So tonight we are heading over to the Hockeneim GP. So tonight's session is of a 2-race session. So we head off into a 15-minute practice with weather of overcast, then followed by a 15-minute qualifier weather overcast. Our sprint race is a 12-lap race with weather light rain to overcast. There's no mandatory pit. We'll then have a 5-minute break while the drivers get ready for the next session, which will then head into a qualifying session for 15 minutes with weather overcast. The main race is 25 laps, weather heavy cloud to light cloud, and there is a mandatory pit. So last week, after finishing the third round, we have Angry Oldfella leading the championship by 3 points, so he's on 313 points. Weave and 777 following closely behind on 310. And Gallon 350 sitting in third with 307 points, so very close indeed. So last week we saw Gallon 350 take the pole position and the race win and the fastest lap in the sprint race. And then for the main race, we had Weave and 777 qualify second position and take the win, and also take the fastest laps. We do have a full grid tonight, just about. It's a good size. It'll be lots of interesting stuff to see with light rain heading off into the sprint race. It's unlikely you'll possibly see the track dry up, as the weather will only change to overcast. So we'll have a quick look at the track as we load into it. So off to Germany for the Hockenheim GP, which track length is 4.57 kilometres and there's 16 turns. There are a few good fast corners. It will be a bit tricky in the wet, as it does tend to pull quite a fair bit. So as you can see, those hairpins and those sort of sharper elbowed technical turns will actually possibly have a fair bit of pulling and aquaplaning, so drivers will need to definitely start picking different brake lines and also different driving lines through those corners to avoid sliding out in the wet. So hopefully we won't be too far off. Not getting any current best times showing up. Drivers already making their way out. Gallon 350 first to head out onto the track. So 11 drivers, which is a decent sized field. So a lot of competition between our top three, with Angry Oldfella, Weave and 777 and Gallon 350. So looking at how they have actually been performing on average for points, I shall bring up some data. Gallon 350 has been averaging 51 points per race. Angry Oldfella averaging 52. And also Weave and 777 averaging 52. So seeing the statistics such as that, you can see why there is such a close difference in points. So 6 points separating the championship leader from the top three. Aussie Chopper also in the Audi number 4. It's a sea of Audis tonight. Good. I see Stanhouse in the BMW. Or did he decide to opt for the Audi in the long run? Yes, he did end up deciding to change into it. Sorry, no, it was Tenchi decided to stick with it. Stanhouse did decide to change early on in the series, as there was a big difference in the actual cars. Locking up heavy there. Gitto 23, new to the series, just joining us for a debut with Apex tonight. So welcome to the team, Gitto. Tenchi 202 not making it into the session. We may see him later. Mersey Blue is one that will not be attending tonight. He's unable to make it. He was in the Bentley, as you would remember from seeing our last 3 rounds. And scrapes and damage to the car already. It is a very testing track. Like sitting hot on the tail. Another car there. Running out wide into the dirt. Gallant, so Gallant coming in for 132. First time's on the board. Birdie coming in for 134. Gitto coming in from 140. Angry on 149. So we'll continue our way through the field, make yourselves familiar for our drivers if you are new to seeing our series. A bit of congestion there as someone has spun out. Looks like that may have been Angry going off track. Yes, that was definitely Angry. Okay, they're in the grey and yellow Audi. If you are joining us for the stream, you will see below the actual stream we have controls. You can actually put in sound effects over the stream. I'll be able to see you actually cheering on or doing other sound effects for your favourite drivers for several different incidents that may occur. So have fun with the stream. And be sure to jump in on the chat as well. I can see the chat. Let me know who you think is going to take pole, who's going to win the race. We've just had Gallen come in with a 1:30 as well, now taking the fastest time in the practice session. 10 minutes remain. Getting a 4 seconds difference between our first 6 cars. Consistent times at the moment. Like Bertie has spun out there, just narrowly getting in front of Angry Old Fella just in time. They are very tight corners, as you can see. I'll bring up the map so you can see where they are on the track. Gallen 350 again setting a fastest time, now coming in the 129s. Should be able to see a 127 potentially in qualifying. So the weather is overcast, game time is 9, so track temperatures are quite low. Once we get into the qualifying session, it will be game time of 10, still the same weather of overcast. That will see track temperatures still be quite low, but a slight increase as the day time actually progresses on. I think that's maybe Gitto sliding in there. Oh, and taking some hits. No, I'm not sure who. That's Psycho in the silver Audi 3. So he'll bring that in the pits. That's a fair bit. Yellow flag is out. car diving off track and then quickly heading back in the pits. That looks like it was Corby. He's getting that car back out freshly. We'll jump on board with Gallen. He's setting a very nice pace at the moment. So you can actually see some of these tight technical corners. And the driver's rather unimpressed of the cruelty of a wet sprint race. Going, managing quite well. For some reason this is coming up as if it is a qualifying session. If that is the case, we may actually have to drop out momentarily, reload a qualifying session. We'll discuss that with the drivers. So we'll leave you with the guy, but I will chat with the drivers and just see what's going on. Okay, and I am back. So I left you checking out Bertie. So trying to determine if we are in a practice session or qualifier. We'll soon find out in 10 seconds when it says qualifying complete or practice session complete. So Corby has come in with the quickest lap of 1:28. Nice time indeed. Yes, so it is practice, that's fine. So don't usually see grid place penalties being given in a practice session. Corby currently setting a 1:28.964, Gallon with a 1:29.199. Very good times there indeed. Gallon getting a little bit broad through those corners, doing a bit of weaving. Running off into the kitty litter, spraying gravel all over the place. Session complete, 51 seconds to finish up final laps. Who's still out on track, Curver? So we have a difference of 5 seconds between our top 10 drivers there. That's quite a consistent pace throughout the field. It will be a very interesting qualifying session and definitely for the sprint race. There 17 seconds remain for drivers to finish up final laps. Currently, Curver's coming 4th in the championship with 223 points. So, practice session is finished. Corby coming in with the quickest time, a 1:28.964. So as you can see on the board, it is very tight indeed. So 10 seconds, 10.5 seconds for the whole field, 4.6 seconds from 1st to 10th. So very tight indeed. So over to a 15-minute qualifying session now. So weather will be overcast. Game time will have increased by an hour. And I shall not have to duck away for a period now, as I was concerned that I may not have loaded in that practice session, but luckily I had. Don't forget to make yourself known, say hello in the chat if you have joined us. Stanhouse already showing signs of damage to that front left. Taken out his light already. The Psycho still has actually taken a grid place penalty. I am unfamiliar of seeing a penalty given in a practice session carry through to a qualifier. So I'm not sure what it was that he may have done that caused such a penalty to occur in a practice session. Even in practice sessions, you'll get warnings for speeding in pit lane, crossing pit lane exit, get slowdowns and have your lap times invalidated, but generally you won't cop a penalty as such. Even when I have driven in these same lobbies, you can tend to straight down through pit lane and not cop anything. So unfortunately for Psycho, you will be having a one position grid penalty applied to him at the start of the race. And taking quite a while for that camera to quickly pan back in and catch up to where Psycho was, locking it up into that first corner, taking out several cones. Aussie Chopper is his first time with us in this championship. Doesn't sound like he scraped the wall coming out there. It's a very tight turn coming out of that pit box. So Aussie in the number 4 Audi. It's an entire field of Audis tonight. It will be quite hard to try and distinguish between the different cars, as the game doesn't have many different options for the liveries on the cars, so there will be some doubles. Gallen again coming in with first opening lap at 1:30, quite a decent time again. They see Corby coming with a 1:28 again. It'd be nice to see a 1:27 potentially come through. Colby hasn't been able to make it for all the races, so it's currently sitting 9th in the championship with 142 points. Gallen, Angry and Weaven will be the three to keep an eye on tonight. All closely competing. Oh, Weaven getting up on that ripple strip, not taking any damage. And there is 20 points up for grabs for pole position. And then there is 30 points for the race win in the sprint race, worth 60 points for the main race tonight. And there is 5 points up for fastest lap in each race. And here we have seen Corby come in with a 1:29. Car looking tidy. Becoming accustomed to the track quite quickly. He's doing very well. 9 minutes remaining of the qualifying session. Drivers yet to get a time on the board. And then we've just had Angry Oldfiller coming for 1:29.583. We'll be locking it up onto that tight hairpin. Looks like Curver has just run off wide in the background. That same corner proving quite difficult for all drivers. The same hairpin again. See if we can find who will be next coming up. Gallen. See how fast he's getting. So yeah, getting down to about 60 to 70 kilometres through that hairpin. Just remaining for Bertie to get a qualifying time. 1.5 seconds separates our top three currently for the qualifying. Matteo Tommaso is currently sitting in 4th position for 1:31.121. It is quite a nice time. We don't get sectors to compare. Drivers most likely out on hard tyres, and with the lower track temperatures they would be rather slippery still. And as it is forced default setups, the game will automatically give the drivers wet tyres to start the race, as the race will start wet and then weather will progress into overcast. So there's no opportunity for drivers to be able to try and choose a different strategy where they might try and survive the wet stint on non-wet tyres. Matteo now, oh no, he just moved up into 3rd position, just pushed back down into 4th with Bertie squeezing into the 3rd spot. I think Angry has just improved. Yes, he has, and he's just brought that car back into the pits. He did improve his pole position time. I'm not getting an updated race feed for when they have been set, but we shall bring up timings ourselves and manually do it. Yes, his last lap just improving that. 0.2 of a second difference between 1st and 2nd. Corby just behind. 5.5 minutes approximately left remaining of qualifying. Angry and Gallen sitting strongly for a starting position of the race. We've been slightly behind in the field so far. And that hairpin there definitely an issue for most drivers here. I don't think we have seen many get through there without getting up over that edge or hitting one of those cones. In the wet, that will definitely be catastrophic. Be a bit of fender bender action, I assume, coming into the sprint race, starting in the rain. Psycho currently in 9th, but he will have a grid position penalty, so that will see him move to 10th. Providing Gitto or Aussie don't change, they'll move up. So 2, 3 cars, 4 cars all running off in that corner. You can see it looks like Bertie in the background, also running off wide on that same hairpin. Angry is back out on the track. And Psycho has now come in with a 3rd. No, he's just been dropped down to 4th. Stanhouse just coming in and stealing that position. We're seeing a lot of change happening in the qualifying. Some very tight times now. Psycho doing well to try and cover some of that ground with that grid place penalty. So it is still only the 1. If he was to receive another penalty in this qualifying session, it could be a further position. So hopefully doesn't have that issue occur for him. Gallen doing quite quickly through those corners. Nice line coming out through there. That one quickly tucking in behind Gallen. Gallen not improving his time. Angry old fella still managing to maintain his 128. Nolan has come back in. He's back out on the track to ensure he can defend that time. But he doesn't need to improve much on his time before he could essentially steal that pole position away from Angry. 2 minutes remaining. He can still do that. And looking from third through to fifth, they are very tight indeed. 1.4, 1.8 and 1.8 all off the leader's time. A few drivers just dropping out. A bit of a glitch. It looks like we've lost two. I'm not sure who we've lost. I think we've lost Angry Old Fella. They've left the session, not sure what has happened. If we have a mass dropout, we may do a restart. If that is the case, I'll talk to the drivers in between. And Broad there for Aussie. Looks like Psycho. No, not Psycho. Not sure who else is in the dark. Maybe Weaver. Sorry, Gallen. Aussie has Angry Old Fella has disconnected. That would be very unlucky, as he did secure pole position. Needing to defend his championship. "20 seconds remain of qualifying. Check to see if drivers have disconnected. Yes, we've lost Curver and Angry. So we may end up deciding to do a restart, so that we'll just see the drivers do a opening lap. So we'll let this session continue through. So we'll have to do a formation lap if that's the case, because we've lost a couple of drivers. So all drivers heading into the pits. Once they've done that, we'll momentarily have a break. I'll jump in and talk to the drivers. Angry Old Fella has disconnected, unfortunately. So we have lost Curver and Angry Old Fella. So we will be back momentarily. So far with these results, if we don't restart, is Corby in first, Gallen in second, and Stanhouse in third. So we will be back in a brief moment. So I'll put you to a be right back screen, and I'll talk to our drivers. And we are now back from a little technical issue. So we had lost a couple of drivers. The drivers will now be seeing an extra lap actually set to the race. So it was a 12-lap race, so it's now 13. They'll use the first lap to do a formation. The game doesn't allow us to actually do a custom formation lap. It will have... If we had set to a rolling start, a formation lap, it would have actually set the cars to maintain the positions they're in. So drivers are remembering what positions they are in. Angry Old Fella is in pole position. Corby has jump started off the formation. Unfortunate there, not needing to get away so quick. So we'll see, oh, bit of contact already. So we'll see Angry climb ahead to the top of the field. Unfortunately, the tyres for the cars will have started hot. They will cool down fairly quick in the wet on this formation lap. So they have let Corby jump ahead really quick for a lap so he can quickly serve his drive-through penalty. So Angry is keeping the pace very slow. Very good sportsmanship there. So they may come to a standstill here just to give him that time to catch up. Then he'll tuck back in. Keeping a good pace, everyone in position. So all the drivers are in a party chat together, so they would be communicating here. We'll see how Corby is going to break back into formation to take second position. He's going to start from here. Angry about to start. And we're away. Oh, and there's been contact already. It looks like... I'm not sure who it is back of the field, but definitely a car. I think that was Weaven. Yes, Weaven taking some heavy damage already on that first corner. Angry starting to get away. He already put a 2-second gap, but Corby did start from the pits. Good thing with starting the race like this, I have actually got an up-to-date race feed. Psycho now just moved up into 4th position, where it's tight for 4th, 5th and 6th. Psycho getting out wide, re-entering, forcing Stanhouse to dive across. Curver just taken a position away from Matteo. Stanhouse right on the tail of Psycho after he re-entered, luckily not spinning out, just running wide. We've now starting to reclaim some positions. First lap's being set. Angry Old Fella with the fastest lap at 1:43. Fastest sector 3 was Angry Old Fella with a 33. And the Stanhouse going sprawled, locking it up. Manages to recover quite well. That was where we saw Weaven get spin out in that first section. Corby also spun off into the dirt. Coming along here as Gallen, Psycho quickly catching up to him. He's going to be side by side, outside line on that corner. You can see a bit of water pooling already. As we come to this hairpin, you can see significant pools of water already on this track. This is the hairpin we saw everyone struggling with in practice and qualifying. There's some heavy traffic back there on the hairpin. Cars diving everywhere. Matteo running off onto the inside of the track. Matteo tucking back in just behind Stanhouse. Corby and Psycho currently contesting for 3rd position. Curva and Bertie also sitting hot on each other. Error there by Bertie running off, allowing Curva to take that position 5. Jump on with Bertie. Just see how much visibility they're getting when sitting hot behind. Getting some strange times at the moment. So this is the visibility. It's an open cockpit. But definitely making it difficult to try and spot your braking lines. Gitto taking a very nice line through that corner. You can hear the car aquaplane through that corner on the line that he took. Under throttle. Angry doing well, now increasing his lead on the race, lap 4. So that's 3 race laps in, and he has now put 3.4 seconds over Gallen. Weaven needing to try and recover some positions. Our top 3 for the championship, we have Weaven, Angry and Gallen, all 6 points separating from 1st to 3rd. These are the drivers looking to maintain their points. Unfortunately for Weaven, spinning out on that first hairpin. He has recovered 2 positions. Looks like Matteo struggling with the car, getting quite slippery on the grass. Welcome to the stream, JK Gamer. So Corby has just moved up into position 3. Gallen slipping behind. Dropped from 2nd down in the 5th, and Curva has just gotten on the inside of him, taking that position. Oh, a little bit of contact. rain seems to be lightening up a bit. Weather forecast is light rain into overcast, so the rain will stop. With 11 cars on the track, we could see some driving lines start to clear up for sure. Drivers talking pre-race saying that there was still puddles when they were doing their practice sessions. However, when you are doing it just by yourself, driving around, testing out wet conditions, the track will not dry up as quick as having 11 cars taking the same line. So you can see that big pool, seeing that car swerve, Psycho swerving into Corby. Won't see him cop a penalty for that. That was because of the aquaplane. That was a huge puddle the two cars were in. Corby manages to re-enter the track in a decent position, forcing an error to curve on that line. You can see that car darting side to side. The rain is easing up a bit on pit straight. Back into the track, we're still seeing some rainfall. Not much separating the rest of the field. Angry's climbed ahead. Not sure who's just gone off there. Corby slipped off. Birdie and Stanhouse just getting past him. Gallen has now recovered back up into third position. Curver has just gone off the track. There's cars going every which way on that hairpin in the wet. Looking like that was Weaven also getting a little bit slippery around that hairpin. Stanhouse going off quite wide into that corner. Drivers struggling with the wet conditions and trying to find lines to get around the drivers. However, it will be very difficult as the pooled water on the track, trying to find a different line that you were used to from the previous lap and then deciding to make a passing move on it. Could see aquaplane straight into another car or off the track. The rain has stopped. Gallen just has taken fastest in sector 3, 32 seconds. That was previously set last lap, 32.1, and Gallen has done it in almost 32 flat. Corby's having to make a pit stop, so he's taken damage in that last spin out. Unfortunate for Corby. Angry Oldfell has just taken fastest time in sector 1, 22.6 seconds. Weaven's now recovered up to 6th position. 30, struggling to get through that corner, losing a bit of time, allowing Weaven to then again catch up. And we have Psycho closing in on that gap on Angry Oldfella. As you can see, as we went around there's still a large pool of water. That's Gallen going off quite wide through that pool of water. There's also debris added to the track as where Gallen has come back on. Several cars have gone off there. And there is still pulling water. You can see the track starting to dry up a bit. Certain lines have actually started to clear up. You can see less spray there from Gallen as compared to that was there. You can see him just hit that water puddle, sending him to go wide on that corner. like Weaven is making a move on Bertie. And seeing darting side to side, looking for a position to try and make a move. But he needs to be aware of those puddles. You can see there, it just took the car off to that right-hand side of the outside section of the track. Heavy on the brakes, a little bit of a lock-up by Bertie. Did get away with a good amount of speed. Psycho's just taken the fastest sector away from Angry for Sector 1. Their times are very marginal. It's 22 seconds, 0.4 and 22.467, so very tight indeed. Gallon is fastest in Sector 2. Aussie Chopper has just been given the blue flag to move back. Even not being able to find an opportunity to make a pass. The rest of the field starting to split up. Angry Oldfella just beaten Sector 3 with fastest. The fastest lap set so far is Angry Oldfella. So that looks like maybe Aussie back there having some difficulties with the car. So he did get the blue flag, so he may have moved over a little bit too far, gotten off track slightly, or hit a pool of water. And look at Psycho go. Oh, that looks like, I'm not sure who that is. That may be Corby that is just passing. Yes, that's Corby. Allowing Psycho to get through. Psycho is closing this gap in quickly. 4 laps remain of the race. We'll quickly bring up and look at to see what the last times are. There's a second difference between the two. So at current pace, it's not enough for him to unfortunately catch up. We just had Gitto, 2 cars going off into the kitty litter. That's Gallon as well. Gallon trying to get it back under power. Oh, and he's hit Psycho. Second and third. Doing donuts in the paddock. Making contact off track. Weaven making a massive recovery. He's now just moved up into position 5. Gitto, our newcomer to the Apex series of racing, doing well in 4th position. Not a bad there. It was a few miles of water on certain sections of the track. Angry looking pretty safe now after Gallon and Psycho both having a spin out. He's now pushed that lead to 21 seconds. Psycho was reigning in that gap very quickly. We have lost a driver. I'm not sure who we've lost. Looks like we've lost Curver. May still be in the lobby. So him and Angry both have a disconnect in the qualifying session just before it ended, requiring a restart for the race and the formation lap. Weaven now into 4th position. Gallon has slipped back a fair bit. Very quiet around Angry Oldfella. Has the track to himself at the moment. Only a drastic error could potentially ruin it for Angry at this stage. Psycho still remaining in 2nd position. He's just set the fastest lap. Again, so it's second time, so 1:39.062. So we can definitely see the track drying up. And already has improved just on this lap again, having beat his previous fastest sector in Sector 1. Unless a significant error occurs for Angry, we've just lost another car. I think we may have lost Corby. It's unfortunate for those two. So it looks like Gallen and Gitto running wide, re-enters, doesn't lose too much time. And Weaven recovering very well. Angry Oldfellas just taken back the fastest lap, 1:38.738. And then again, Psycho just stolen the fastest lap away again at 1:37.593. That is blistering speed. It's like Bertie. Stanhouse off in the distance. Not sure who else is in that. Is Aussie Chopper off in the distance there. Angry coming in for the last lap. Weaven now looking to take second position away from Psycho. To try and jump on for a final lap with Angry if we can. These two are starting to close in. Psycho is starting to get it back away though now. So all I'm seeing so far is constant exchanges of fastest sectors between Angry Oldfella and Psychogency. Angry's on his final lap. Check over quickly to Weaven. Race people saying he was quite close to Psycho. That is a fair bit of a distance. As you can see, track still quite reasonably wet. These sections of the track that are dry. Angry just needs to take it easy. He's got 20-second buffer. Nice and fast through that corner. Brilliant line through that hairpin. Fast hairpin. So currently exchanges for fastest sectors are going between Stanhouse, Gallen, Psycho and Angry. Race speed is just constantly changing. Angry running wide. He does get a slow down. He wouldn't have to abide by it. Here he goes. He has finished the sprint race, winning the race. Well done, Angry Oldfella. With a almost 20-second lead. Weaven also doing very well to recover from that early spin out on that first lap. Here comes Psycho, 40 seconds remain, crosses the line, taking second position. Weaven going to go for a slide in third, Stanhouse in fourth. Gallen taking fifth position. Ito doing well with the 6. Bertie quickly coming up behind him. It's not enough to be able to do it. Bertie taking 7th position. 20 seconds remain. Should see Matteo cross the line. Matteo crossing in 8th position. Aussie, some significant damage, just waiting out for the clock timer. So that's it, the sprint race, our first race of tonight's session. So drivers didn't disconnect, they just did retire, so they still will receive points. So on the podium, Angry Oldfella taking first, Psychogency taking 2nd place, and Weaven 777, a brilliant recovery after spinning out early in the race, taking the podium on 3rd position. So the drivers to look out for the championship was Angry Oldfella, Weaven and Gallen. So all 3 securing very tight points there. We'll have a quick look and see who it was that actually retained the fastest lap. It looks like it is Psycho with a 1:35.536, and yes, he has taken the fastest lap as well. So some nice points for Psycho. So we'll be having a quick 5-minute break as we prepare for the next session. So we'll have a 15-minute qualifier session, and then we have the main event. So that will see us doing, I believe, 25 laps for the main one. That's a mandatory pit. So weather forecast is heavy cloud to light cloud for that, so no wet. So with the times we're seeing then, will be very interesting indeed. So don't go away, stay tuned. We'll be back in about 5 minutes. And welcome back for the second session of round 4 of the LMP900 World Series. So we just saw Angry finish very strongly in first position with a 20-second lead. And Gallon already losing it on the first corner. It's cold track temps on the cold tyres. I think that's not Leag, that may have been Stanhouse perhaps. No, he's in the pits. Trying to figure out who else is driving white. That would have been Matteo. We saw some brilliant driving by Weaven 777. We saw him spin out on that first lap in the very first corner at the rolling start. If you didn't join us for the first session, we did do a rolling start as we had some disconnects occur. And someone going for a spin off in the background there. Not sure who that was. May have been Matteo, I'm not sure. And we saw Corby get a jump start at the rolling start, so we had to do a manual formation lap, added an extra lap to the first race. As the drivers got disconnected at the end of the qualifying session, so they all got back into their positions and did a rolling start. And difficulties there for Corby. And get that around in time without taking any damage. Lyko heading in to the pits. I'm assuming he's probably opting for some softs. Weather is currently the same as Angry. He's also in. It looks like Bertie doing some donuts there, I think. No, it looks like Aussie. Aussie getting it loose in the pits. Quick way to get those tyres up the temp, just light them up in pit lane. Coming into the start of this round, we had only 6 points separating Angry Old Fella in the championship from leading it over Gallon 350 to Weaven 777. There's only 6 points. Angry not taking fastest lap in the race. That went to Psycho in the first race. But Angry has secured 50 points by taking pole position and a win in that first session. Pole position offers another 20 points for this second session. Weaven's just had his lap time invalidated for exceeding track limits. Gallon has come in for his first lap of 1:31. Game time is a little bit later in the day now compared to before. So the sprint race was at 11 o'clock. Game time now for qualifying is 1 o'clock, and weather is overcast. So the main race will be 25 laps. Game time starts at 2 o'clock. Weather's heavy cloud to light cloud. Definitely low track temps throughout. Drivers will default to be on hards. It's a mandatory pit for this race. The pit strategy will play a part. They probably will want to swap out to softs with the lower track temps for that second stint. Unless, of course, they do have quite a good gain on the first half of the race. They don't actually have to come and change tyres or do anything. They can just stop and go as long as they have pulled up and had the car lifted on the pits. That counts as completing the mandatory pit. Corby's come in with fastest lap at 1:28 already. It is a nice time set by Corby. Gallon's just had his lap times invalidated. has gone off track. Hasn't taken any damage. Not sure if this lap will count for him. He may have gone off in that last sector and invalidate this time. So that will give him another lap to get them tyres up to a bit more temp. Get some heat into the brakes. Colby has brought the car into the pits, so you can see some damage to the car. He has gone off. Fanhouse currently sitting second. Big broad slide and heavy contact into that wall. He'll bring that car into the pits. And that's actually at the first corner, so that's the pit exit where he stopped. And is where we saw Weaven spin out on the first lap of the race, but he did recover from last position after that spin out to third position. So it wasn't looking well for Weaven originally, with being able to maintain a strong position for the top three of the championship. We will need to see Angry Old Fella take another pole position to further his lead a slight bit more. He has had quite a fair bit of bad luck with being hit and taking some damage throughout the series. We saw a significant incident in the very first round, seeing Angry completely taken out on the first corner. A lengthy stint in the pits, however he did come back and do a clean sweep of round one, so poles, wins and fastest laps, so very strong, consistent driving. Matteo coming in second position, only 1.5 seconds off, 1:30, very quick time. Bertie has just brought the car into the pits. I think drivers are possibly chatting amongst themselves about the softs. Despite the game being forced to default setups, it's only how the car starts. Adjustments to it. Whether you can adjust your pit strategies, so you can bring that car in. You can't tell it to return to pits, you actually have to drive manually in and then head back out, so then you can end up with some softs. No mechanical adjustments can be done. Angry Old Fella in 10th with 1:58, so that would be him on his first lap bringing it in to actually swap out some tyres, I would believe. We are expecting possibly about 20 seconds for a tyre change. That car skipping through quite nicely, fair bit of grip, so he may definitely have gone for the softs here. And we have lost Curver. He's had some other things come up, so he's had to retire out of that last race, but he did secure points. He didn't actually quit the session. So drivers who disconnect or quit the session before it ends won't score any points for that race. And he did get to be able to at least get some points in there for himself. Yes, that was Gitto back there, slightly going wide. A little bit different in qualifying this session so far. I'm expecting Angry Old Fella possibly to jump up at least in the top three for sure on this current lap. No, he's just had lap times invalidated. So another time around the track before we can improve that time. Chopper currently sitting in the pits. Sounds like he's getting that car back out. Not sure if he may be having some technical issues there. Here he goes. He may have just been doing a burnout in there. Fair bit of panel damage with his residual. He did just opt to bring that car in. Only 0.665 of a difference between first and second. First and third, 1.5 seconds. 7 seconds separating the field so far. Most of the field only 4 seconds apart. We saw Psycho take the fastest lap of the last race. And there was a constant battle for fastest sector times between Angry, Stanhouse and Psycho. There'll be ones to watch for this next race, and that was as the track started to dry up. There still was pools of water, but the main driving line was mostly clear. It was only when drivers were looking to make a passing move that they were still encountering pools of water on track. Now with us having a dry race for the 25 laps, it will be a very close race indeed. Hopefully no technical issues requiring us to have to jump out and delay it to do a rolling start. And here we go, Angry, straight up into pole position. 0.439 of a second off Corby. I think that may have been Aussie playing around with Angry there. That was a definite block after taking pole. I think that is a bit of a competitive gist there, a bit of a ribbing to Angry. Weaven has brought the car into the pits. Gito heading back out as well has also brought that car in. Gallen not qualifying as strongly as last session. I'm not sure if he has gone in for softs. If he hasn't, it won't be recommended to do so currently, as we only have 1.5 minutes remaining. Needs to try and gain a few more positions. However, being a longer stint race as well, it's not always good to qualify strongly if your strategy is to just last the length of a longer race. You can see a bit of glistening on that track as a bit of debris has been sprayed out. Doesn't look too thick that it may be affecting anyone just yet. We've just had Stanhouse invalidate his current lap. Gallant taking advantage. He has moved up a few positions. So also currently, if he can tuck in behind Stanhouse for most of his lap, Stanhouse keeping a reasonable pace, he could use that to an advantage to try and gain a few more positions yet. So Angry beating the fastest time again with a 1:27. Despite the gisting block from Aussie, I don't think that will have given him a slowdown. May have cost him potentially half a second on his lap here. Qualifying is complete. Last laps, 95 seconds remain. Corby has an opportunity to try and steal it away. His current best time is .243 off. He's 0.6 of a second off of Angry's pole position. He can claim another .4. He could steal pole position away from Angry. Angry's brought that car in, happy with that time. Gallon and Psycho also out very tight times. We saw Gallon tucking in behind Stanhouse. He's going to have a draft advantage for this lap. I think we may be able to see an improvement. Oh yes, we may. It's .548. He only needs to find another 100th of a second and he will take pole on the final lap. Here he goes. He is flying. He is in complete focus. Nice line through there. Not too much power as he goes on the outside. Flat foot now. He needs to go. And he has stolen pole position. That was a blistering final lap by Corby. Oh, unfortunate for Gallon. There is not much left to his car. Now resembles a go-kart. Qualifying now complete. Corby stealing pole position with a blistering last lap. That was fantastic driving, going from only beating his previous time by .100 for the time to then increasing that over each sector to a pole position. So narrowly beating Angry's time. So 1:27.642. So also starting at the front, we have Angry Old Fella in second, Weaven 777 in third. So Angry, Weaven and Gallon are our strong contesters for the championship at the moment. Psycho in fourth. We saw him set the fastest lap last race as well, so very strong driving there. Gallon in fifth, Mateo in sixth, Stanhouse in seventh, Birdie in eighth, Gitto in ninth, and Aussie Chopper in 10th. So very good qualifying session indeed there. Aussie showing a lot stronger qualifying session compared to the other one, so only 5.8 seconds off the field there, so very tight indeed. So it will be a very exciting race with some very quick times with the dry track. So we'll head over into the race ready room. Drivers have got a couple of minutes to get ready. As you can see on the map there, it's a quite sharp right-hand turn for the first turn. Could be a bit of chaos coming into there. In that sprint race in wet conditions, we did have the rolling start and we did see some spin outs, but the drivers definitely did lose tyre temperature pretty quick. So as you see the cars bumping around, that's the drivers hitting ready. They have 2 minutes to hit ready, so they're just going to make sure their pit strategies are set, as it will determine how well they finish in this race. And the game does tend to reset to default settings each time, so you do have to recheck and reload it. So they're all ready. We'll wait for this game to sync back up. Look at the countdown. Here we go. And green, green, green. Off we go. A bit of a delayed start for Corby and Angry. There's a bit of rubbing back there. It looks like Gallon. The car has dove off into the inside. I think that is Psycho. Losing a few positions. They've all managed to get back on without making too much of an incident. Corby's starting to get away. There's a few cars going off. Will they enter the track safely? Yes, they have. 3 abreast at the back of the field. Gallon has dropped back into 9th position. Getting no time feeds at the moment. All drivers are currently on par at 0 seconds. Oh, and there's carnage at the back. That hairpin causing issues. I'm not sure what damage has been done. No damage. Looks like they have got through it relatively scathe-free. Angry old fella not giving up on Corby. With Corby seeing Angry right in those mirrors. Psycho has just spun off, losing third position. We'll see Gallon reclaim that position. A good clean recovery by Psycho, not losing too much, only losing that one position to Gallon. We did see Gallon drop back towards the back of the field after the first couple of corners. Corby looking to block Angry. Oh, bit of contact there, have gotten stuck side by side. Nice rub, both of them getting out of it very cleanly. Track temperatures will be much warmer now. You can see the sun shining through. Weather is heavy cloud and we'll progress into light clouds, so we will definitely start to see track temps increase. And if they are running hard, those tyres will be much more grippy. Looks like Gallon and Psycho struggling a little bit in the background. Angry looking to force an error by Corby. Angry also needing to be aware of latency in this as well, as braking position could be slightly different. Starting to slip away a little bit. Corby can relax just a tiny bit now. We have Dirty quickly catching up on Stanhouse. Angry's just gone off track. I think he may have taken some rear damage. That car appears to be struggling at the moment. I'm not sure if he's cleaning the tyres of any debris, or if that car is definitely struggling. Doesn't appear to have taken too much damage. And we have Mateo hot on the tail of Gitto at the moment. Weaving looking for a line, looking to take that inside line. Gitto locking up that front right wheel as he broke into the corner. That did cost him a slight bit of time. He's blocking Mateo. Stanhouse has had to head into the pits. So he has taken some damage. Oh, locking it up, coming into them. Mateo making the pass on Gitto. Forcing Gitto to have to move aside. A nice pass for Mateo. Angry old fella fallen back to 4th position after going off. Be interesting to see if he does head into the pits, whether he took any damage. Given this track, if there is some rear spoiler damage, he probably doesn't need to tend to it too soon. He could probably fight it off for quite a while and tend to it in his mandatory pit. Both drivers, Gallon and Psycho, going up rather wide. I'm not sure if they would be given slowdowns. It looks like they may have been backing off just a little bit there. A clean race so far. I can hear a car recovering at the moment. I'm not sure who that is. I think it may have been Corby. That lead he had has actually started to decrease a bit. Gallon is now starting to close in. pace at the moment. Corby 129s, Gallon 130s, Psycho 130s. We will see them quite quick. Psycho going off into the kitty litter, dives back in on the track, recovers well. Not offline for that following corner. Mateo now looking to take on Aussie Chopper. Aussie Chopper making a mistake and going out wide. Re-enters back into the front of Gitto. He is blocking Gitto. Mateo quickly moving up the ranks and starting to get some distance on these guys as well. So Mateo did qualify strongly as well. I think we may see Psycho and Gallon starting to push some pressure on Corby. Angry Oldfell has fallen back to 10th. I'm not getting a race feed and I may have missed seeing if he has actually gone up into the pits. We did see Stanhouse go in there. If he can last the remainder of the race, he won't have to see himself head into the pits again. That will see him climb up several positions when the rest of the drivers make their mandatory pit. Gallon going off in the kitty, that's where we saw Psycho early and then re-entered just in time. He doesn't get back in time just before Psycho. Psycho now reclaims second. Only 5 seconds off Corby. Weaven doing well back in 4th position. A little bit of distance to cover. He's got 11 seconds to try and cover to catch back up to 3rd position. With Angry Oldfella now have fallen back into 10th position. That gives opportunity currently to Gallon and Weaven try and reclaim some points. Gallon didn't finish as strong in that sprint race. Weaven recovering well and seeing himself on the podium, taking 3rd position. Oh, and a bit of carnage back there. I think that's Gallon and Psycho still contesting for 2nd and 3rd. Oh, and Psycho's gone off. Recovered nicely. Did cut the corner. He may have definitely been given a slow down penalty. I think he may just ignore it. He can usually cop a few time-second penalties over the course of a longer endurance race. It's 25 laps. We're 6 laps in. A 1 second penalty won't do too much. Gallon running wide, feeling the pressure, trying to keep up and catch back up to Psycho. The rest of the field spreading apart. Angry Oldfella now a minute 9 from the leader. Did see him hot on the tail of Corby. And then that spin. We'll try and see if there is any damage to his car to the rear. We might jump over to a chase view. Can't see any damage. So I think there's significant panel damage to that side. So he must have spun out and hit that right side quite hard. I'm not sure if the car seems to be wanting to pull to one side. The right side is damaged. It may be wanting to pull to the right. We'll have a look and see if it is. If he is fighting with the car. Can't see the steering wheel too much in this view. A little bit of corrections. But it is possible. Gallon has retaken 2nd position. Corby is starting to get ahead quite quickly. Psycho and Gallen are going to have to try and utilise pit strategy as a means to close in some time. So Weaven back in 4th position, 20 seconds off the leaders. That's 11 seconds off from Gallen in 2nd. A tyre change pit stop. We'll possibly see 20 seconds. They could probably do a 15-second pit if they don't change tyres. With weather changing to light cloud towards the back end of the race, the hards will possibly still do quite well. They have started on the hards. That is forced with the default setups. They may just choose to keep those tyres going. Both our races, for tonight's round 4 at Hockenheim, they have had a comfy gap. Quickly see lap times. So fastest laps 1:29.198 by Corby, and his last lap was a 1:29.267. So he's keeping very consistent speed. If he makes no mistakes, we could see a repeat of what Angry Old Fella did in the first race. He just needs to keep that car consistent and clean, and he will potentially have the win. It's closed in. I think Corby has gone off wide. And if you're joining us for our stream, be sure to say hello. I can see you on chat. We have sound effects below. Cheer on your drivers. Let me know who you think's going to win this race. Psycho and Gallen look like they were quite close. It's changed again. Like there may have been a little bit of slip by Psycho's car. So yeah, there are sound effects panels below the stream. You can control sound effects over the stream. You will hear it, other viewers will hear it. I won't hear it, but I can see what you have played. Have some fun with the stream. And be sure to hit the follow button as well. All our links are also displayed down the bottom of the screen as well. If you want to get involved. Oh, Gitto making that pass on Matteo. Matteo running off. Danhouse doing nicely at the moment. Gitto going off there. Willie Ranta. Matteo, sorry, Stanhouse having to pick a different line. Gets past cleanly. Angry Old Fella has now reclaimed another position. It is double points for the main race in this session. For a win would give 30 points. You will see 60 points for a win. So that will see Gallen and Weaven currently be able to try and catch back up after the 50 points that Angry has already secured just in this round. And he's only leading over Gallen by 3 points and Weaven by 6. Gallen and Psycho very consistent here. Locking that rear up, almost going into a slide. Sorry, I've had it wrong. It's Weaving 777 that is in second in the championship currently. Angry Oldfellas 313 points, leading the championship after the third round. Weaving 777 with 310, so only trailing by 3 points, and Gallon 350 with 307. So he trails behind Angry Oldfella by 6. And then Angry has already secured 50 points just out of tonight's session already. We saw him take second. We saw Corby steal pole position after a blistering golden lap on that very last lap. A massive comeback. Psycho doing some very good consistent driving in this race. We're halfway into the race. Lap 12. Stanhouse and Matteo making passes here. Ivor not giving up. Oh, a little bit of a bump as it put him off. It did put Stanhouse off, but Matteo did redress that, so that's not going to incur a penalty. Angry's now climbed back up to 7th position. Gitto is catching up on Angry. I think Angry may be battling with a wounded car. And as I mentioned, all our links are at the bottom of this feed. They're not actually links you can click to head over to anything. If you want to head over to our Apex Esports League Facebook page, you can keep up to date with all the results and standings. It's also got the link to our Apex Esports League groups. That's where we host our event details. So if you decide to want to get involved in our races, join the group and then you can get into all the event details and register to compete. Happy for drivers of all skill levels to get involved. Don't need to have a sim set up. If you're competent with driving with controller, that is fine. The Matteo looking to make a move on Angry Oldfella. Angry, oh, narrowly avoiding. Angry going out wide. They're making contact, pushing and shoving. Would have been some glares exchanged as their cars were stuck on each other. Could have been catastrophic for both of them. Going through that corner, stuck together, they would have both gone off track and potentially taken damage to both of them. And as we are live on Twitch, we'd appreciate if you can hit that follow button. We are trying to climb our numbers up to 50 followers. That would be great if you can help us, share us, tell your friends and family, get involved. Especially if you are friends and family of the drivers on here. Glad you can join and see them compete. All our previous broadcasts do go onto our YouTube page. You can watch any past broadcasts, they will be there. If you definitely want to get involved in on our racing, or even just join our group and have discussions about project cars, about iRacing, Assetto Corsa. We do have all those titles, GT Sport, and just general setup inquiries. All our members are very friendly and helpful and always happy to answer a question. We would appreciate if you do want to get involved with us. Gallon and Psycho looking, oh, it looks like Psycho getting a bit light on that rear coming out of the corner. Corby is putting a bit of time over Gallen. Now increasing 11 seconds. Corby would be quite pleased to see that Gallen and Psycho are heavily contesting each other. But will be taking the sights off him at this stage. To Corby. Just over halfway through the race, deciding to pit in. Psycho staying out of field. Gallen also heading in. Psycho now takes the lead of the race. He will have to head in for a mandatory pit. We did see him setting fastest laps in the last race. If he can get in a good solid few laps, he could put a nice lead, get into the pits, keep his tyres, and be back out in approximately 15 to 20 seconds. Psycho pace a little bit off par from Corby. He needs to focus and really put on a golden lap. So Corby is now re-entered, so 20 seconds behind. So it did cost him 20 seconds roughly. And I was estimating 20 seconds for a tyre change. So I think Corby is probably out on softs now, so we'll see him start to get a bit quicker. Gitto has just received a penalty. 10 seconds, so speeding in pit lane, so he's entered the pits rather too quick. And he's taken some damage. That car is drastic, so he may have hit the pit entry wall, I think. So it'll be a longer pit for him. Oh, he's just jumped it. He's going to have to reverse that car back. Here he's in, back in. No tyre change. Just repairs. That always goes away despite them not actually ready to go away. That's repairs being done. What we see to what the driver's seeing, the placard, it will still be down in front. Now Corby potentially being on softs. Could see him quickly cover this ground. Psycho needs to decide what to do. How much longer he stays out on track. He starts feeling that car underperforming. He's probably going to have to decide to get that car in. Gallen a little bit to catch up, but I think Psycho may need to decide whether to relinquish first position and maintain second. The time gap he's seeing at the moment would be sufficient to be able to get back out on track just in front of Gallen. Other contender currently second in the championship, Weaven 777. We saw him finish on the podium, taking third after spinning out on the first corner of the sprint race and recovering from last position. Does have some scrapes up the side. I'm not sure how much performance issues he's got there. Corby's last lap of 1:54. Lap just set then a 1:28. So a 25-second pit stop that took him. And he is quickly honing in on Psychogency. He was 17 seconds out, it's now down to 14. And Gallen also quickly closing in. So he has also pitted. I think Psycho needs to pit this lap. Definitely would need to be his strategy to pit this lap for sure. Car seems to not be holding too greatly compared to what he was doing before, and he's out there on his own. Yeah, his pace has dropped off. And 3 seconds to that of Corby and 2 seconds to that of Gallen. So where he had a 17-second lead, 2 laps in, has now seen that increase down to 11. Yes, into the pits. He needs to get that under. He didn't get a penalty. Corby will definitely take the lead back from Psycho. However, he could definitely get back out before Gallen gets around. Psycho hasn't met his crew yet. They've called him in. Let's see what they do. No tyre. He doesn't need repairs. He's looking pretty good. He should be away quite quickly. Here comes Gallen. Psycho's away. Drops a position. It's not going to be too far behind. Gallen going out wide. Psycho now exiting the pits. We're not going to get a correct feed for time until he completes this next lap. As he's showing as being one of the slowest cars behind the rest of the field despite being in third position. Yeah, okay, it's now updated, so he's now 8 seconds behind Gallen. Possibly should have pitted the lap just after Gallen and Corby. Could have saved him a few more seconds. However, if he can start getting that car back up to pace, he could force an error for sure out of Gallen. We better check out our race leader. We haven't been able to focus on him too much. He's just had the race all to himself out the front. All the action's been going on behind him as he's just been quietly slugging it out with some very consistent laps. So we will check to see if he still holds the fastest lap. Fastest lap's a 1:28.191 set by Corby. His last lap a 1:29.359. That's still fastest out of all the cars on the track at the moment on their last laps. So definitely climbing ahead. Unless a significant accident occurs to him over the course of the next 6 laps, will be just as I explained for Angry Old Fella last in that sprint race. He just needs to bring that car home safely. Gallen catching up some back markers. Trying to figure out who he might be catching up on. I'm not getting a race feed. I think it may be Matteo that Gallen is catching up on. Yes, it is. Matteo will be seeing the blue flag. Doesn't need to move over instantly. It's best to do it on a straight. Move offline. And allow Gallen to safely go past. You do not want to put yourself in a position where you go off and cause an accident for yourself or the passing car. Gallen's still not quite up the pace. Running off very wide. Looking to try and get past Matteo. Colby's now on lap 20. Psycho needing to catch some ground up to be able to get back up to Gallen and have a contest for second position. But I don't think he'll be able to do that in the next 5 laps unless there's a significant error by Corby or Gallen. The rest of the field splitting up. Angry Old Fella recovering to 6th position. Competitors for the championship, Weaven and Gallen, both ahead of him. However, Angry did qualify more strongly than those two. And did have the pole and race win in the first sprint race earlier tonight. carnage. That is Weaven. And I'm not sure if that was Psycho. That was Psycho. Cars dodging debris everywhere. Psycho's car is destroyed. Weaven recovering reasonably well. Not losing a position. That was devastating for Psycho. That car is wrecked. He has retired. With only 5 laps to go, not worth bringing that car, limping it back. Fortunate Psycho was doing well in 3rd position. That's now allowed Stanhouse 3-2-1 to move up into 3rd position. Angry old fella now back up into 4th position. Weaven in 5th. He has taken some damage. Looks like the car is... yeah, definitely looks like it's crawling. Got a bit of a crab walk to it, so some definite suspension and camber damage to that car. I think he may be able to possibly limp that car around. He does have a bit of time between him and Bertie, currently behind him in 6th position. With 3 laps remaining, it's not worth heading into the pits now. Psycho's accident being very advantageous to Angry Old Fella. Now being able to recover some positions quite quickly. With him sitting nearly a second off Stanhouse, he could reclaim a position back onto the podium and take a 3rd. We may see what happened to Weaven, making a massive recovery and taking a 3rd position. Ditto back there with a 10-second penalty. It's not going to affect him in his current position. Aussie Chopper's car looking like no damage. He's doing quite well. Looks like he'd be given a blue flag. I'm not sure if that's Stanhouse currently coming up behind him. Yes, looking to lap Aussie Chopper. Lap 22. So Corby 387 now catching up some more back markers. He needs to get past. Looks like it would be Aussie Chopper that he's catching up to. Yes, you can see Weaven's car crab walking down that straight, giving opportunity for Birdie to pass him, and Weaven going off. He's struggling with that car, losing positions. He's just got to limp that car across the finish line. Unfortunate for him, he was holding a decent position for some points. He's got a 32-second gap. You can see significant dents to that left side of that car. It is severely wounded. Stanhouse now right up behind Aussie Chopper. Aussie will need to look for an opportunity to allow him to safely pass. Corby now. Looks like Aussie, he's gotten past Aussie. Aussie moving over for him, almost getting a bit of slip, getting offline to allow him past. So lap 24. Colby doing very well, very consistent. Still fastest lap of the race. Gallen definitely not able to catch up unless a significant error caused by Corby. It looks like Weaven moving off track up to allow Gallen through. Oh, luckily he recovered from that slide. Stenhouse looking pretty safe in third. Angry slipped behind by another 6 seconds. I'm pretty sure the race is in the bag for Corby. Comes Corby. We just saw a brief image of a person standing in the middle of the track there on pit straight. That is a bit odd. So Aussie Choppers is heading to the pits. I'm not sure if he'd already been in, so he may have just realised he needed to do his mandatory pit. Corby's already got fastest lap in the bag. I don't think anyone can beat it. He just needs to get this car home safely. He has 17 seconds over Gallen for second. Angry needs to try and cover 6 seconds on this lap. Oh, and he's just fallen back a little bit more. On for the victory lap with Corby, 387. With a spectacular golden lap in qualifying, stealing pole position on that final lap. You can see he has definitely slowed back his pace. He's just focused on getting this car home safely. The race is his. Laps in, drivers exhausted. Here he goes. Corby crossing the line, crowd cheering, race is done. A win for Corby. Well done, Corby. Pole, fastest lap, and the race win. Gallen also having a safety net behind him with Stenhouse. Flashlights. Now you're watching the stream. You goes for a drift across the line as usual. Well done. Congratulations to Gallen on the podium, second position. And Stenhouse 3-2-1, third position. 65 seconds remain to finish final laps. Got a little while to get up. We'll see him definitely finish the lap. Angry old fella has fallen behind a bit unless a mistake is done by Stenhouse. He'll definitely see himself on the podium. If you whiff us for the stream, use those buttons down below to give a cheer. A good result for Stenhouse. He's on pit straight and done, taking third position. Angry recovering quite well after falling back to the back of the field. Taking a fourth position, recovering some good points. Bertie in fifth position. Or he's behind there. I think they may have already gone past. And there we are. Round 4 of the LMP900 World Series has wrapped up. So one more round to go. The main race for tonight at Hockeneim GP. On the top of the podium, Corby 387 with the race win, taking first position and also having best lap 128.191. Brilliant time set by Corby. Gallen also on the podium, taking second position. His lap not far off the pace, so 128.699. So securing some good strong points there to try and keep up with our championship leader, Angry Old Fella. Also on the podium, Stenhouse 3-2-1, taking bronze on third position. Well done to Stenhouse. Angry recovering quite nicely after having that accident and falling back to the far end of the field and recovering up into fourth position. See Bertie in fifth, Weaven 777 in sixth, Matteo Tommaso in seventh, Gitto 23 in eighth, Aussie Chopper in ninth, and we saw Psychogency have to retire after that significant accident and also significant damage done to Weaven in that event. So seeing him retire in those last 5 laps, so unfortunate result for Psycho, especially after the great battles we saw between him and Gallon 350. So next week we head off to our final round. So same time next week, Thursday, 7:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. We are off to Circuit of the Americas GP for the final round. So it's just the one long endurance race. So a very tiring race for the drivers. It is double points, so 120 points for a race win. So total of 145 points up for grabs for a clean sweep. So be sure to follow us on our Facebook page. You'll get to see our results and standings get posted after this. Come through and see what penalties may have incurred. I'm not sure if there was much. It'll have to be looked at to see what happened with Psycho and Weaven in that incident. But thank you for tuning in. Be sure to hit that follow button. Check out our YouTube channel as well. There are links in the Twitch, and all our past broadcasts are there. And once again, thanks for joining our stream with Apex Esports League, and hopefully we see you next week or on the track with us. Thanks very much for tuning in.